My name is Sarah. I lived with my husband, John, and our 20-year-old daughter, Lisa. Actually, Lisa is John's daughter from a previous relationship, making us a step-family. While we had our share of complexities compared to a typical family, we've lived together for years and have become just like any other family. Then one day, John passed away suddenly. It was so unexpected that both Lisa and I were in complete shock. Anyway, we have to contact the funeral home. Despite being dazed, we somehow managed to complete the funeral preparations. Many people attended the service, but a major incident occurred during the eulogy. At the end of the funeral, while holding back tears, I managed to thank everyone who had come. Although there were prepared remarks from the funeral home, I wanted to express my feelings in my own words, as it was John's funeral. It seemed like the right choice, as many attendees were moved to tears, remembering John. As I watched the scene unfold, a warm feeling filled my heart, but then Lisa, who was sitting next to me in the family row, suddenly stood up. And then she asked for the microphone I was holding. Considering Lisa was an adult, I thought she might want to say something at her father's funeral, so I handed her the microphone. But what Lisa said next was unimaginably cruel, something that no one could have anticipated.
My father, John, has passed away. Because of this, I wish to sever my ties with this person who's been parading as the mourner in charge.
She said this coldly, looking down on me. I was so shocked by the suddenness of it all, I was left speechless.
It's normal, right? Since there's no blood relation between us. Just a stepmother, yet she's been acting like she was my real mother. It was truly bothersome.
Lisa?
I've been pretending to be the good daughter just because Dad wanted that. I only endured it for him. But I've never thought of you as anything more than a money source, never as a mother.
What? Why would she say that now? Maybe the stepmother did something to her. You know, with their complicated relationship. For a child to say such things in this setting, it must be serious. She must have suffered. How sad.
Among the words of the people attending, there were whispers suggesting they had misunderstood me after hearing the announcement. Lisa must have heard them, too. She looked down on me with a triumphant gaze, as if she had proven her point.
See, do you hear the voice of the public? That's what strangers think of you.
But we've lived together since you were in elementary school. I took care of you when you were sick, made late-night snacks during your exams, and listened to your worries. Memories of Lisa keep flooding back in my mind. She used to call me Mom and seemed to cherish me. But was she always thinking of me as just an annoying outsider, a money grubber? Did she see me, not related by blood, as a nuisance?
You still don't get it, do you? Do you even know why Dad married someone like you in the first place?
Well, we met through a friend, and we had a lot in common, so...
Seriously, you actually believe that?
What? With an exaggerated sigh and a scoff, Lisa said something shocking.
Dad treated you like a housekeeper, you know. He was wealthy but too busy to look after me or do housework, so he chose you for that.
That can't be.
So there was never any love. Can you just read the room and renounce the inheritance?
What?
It's only right, isn't it? Since Dad disliked you, it's outrageous that you'd even want his estate. Don't you think I, his real daughter, should get it all?
Lisa was making absurd claims. She appeared to genuinely believe she was correct, laughing confidently. Despite having raised her like my own daughter, why am I subjected to such accusations? Raising Lisa was challenging. Her rebellious phase was longer than most kids, and she often had troubles with friends in school. There were times she didn't want to go to school and wouldn't do her homework, no matter how often I asked. She never once helped with the chores without being told repeatedly. Honestly, I've wondered why I had to struggle so much for a child that wasn't my own. But I persevered because it was a request from the man I loved, John. I listened to Lisa's worries and encouraged her, doing my best to raise her. Thanks to that, Lisa graduated high school and has been working admirably for the past 2 years. When she got her first paycheck, she even bought me a beautiful piece of jewelry. Yet, to think that in her heart, she saw me as an annoying stepmother. It was a devastating realization. Understood. If that's what you wish, I'll do it.
Really? Well, renouncing an inheritance requires various procedures, so I'll look them up and send you the documents.
You would do that for me, Lisa?
Hey, don't casually use my name like we're close. That's what I hate about you, no delicacy at all.
Lisa turned to me with a look of utter disdain. And then she said this.
I don't trust you. If it were up to you, you might not even handle the procedures properly, so I'll take care of it. You're welcome.
With that, Lisa surveyed the crowd at the funeral.
I apologize for the commotion today. However, I want everyone here to be witnesses, friends and colleagues of my father and his family. Be witnesses that I am cutting ties with this woman and becoming free.
Though Lisa spoke as if she was giving a speech, I couldn't stay silent. Taking the microphone from Lisa, I continued. I apologize for the unsightly scene today, but I share the desire to have witnesses. Everyone, I no longer consider this child my daughter. Therefore, I will not be helping her anymore, no matter what she says. I would be grateful if you could witness that.
What is that supposed to mean? I would never ask you for help. I'm a grown adult. I'll inherit the estate and live freely on my own. You and I are done.
I see. I understand. Be strong, no matter what lies ahead. The sudden quarrel between Lisa and me seemed to confuse the attendees at the funeral. Some might have wondered if Lisa had been wronged, while others might have thought that the problem lay with Lisa. Everyone must have had their own thoughts. An important funeral ended in an awkward atmosphere. I felt terribly sorry for John. John had asked me to look after Lisa, and now our relationship had come to this. If only I had been better at managing our relationship, it might not have come to this. But with things having gone this far, there was probably no helping it. I decided to forget about Lisa and live my life freely from now on. However, a few days later, Lisa, who had made such a scene at the funeral home, rushed into our house looking panicked.
What is the meaning of this? You knew about this, didn't you?
What are you talking about? And please don't enter someone else's house uninvited.
That's not the point right now. I'm asking if you knew about this fact. Just tell me already.
Lisa, looking pale, demanded answers, so I responded to her. The fact that you and John are not blood related? Of course, I know that.
How? How did you know that?
Why wouldn't I? John and I were married. We naturally discussed it before remarrying. Didn't you know about your own situation, even at this age?
That is.
What are you talking about? You always made such a show of being close to John. And yet you weren't trusted with such important information? I threw back at Lisa the same accusations she had made at the funeral. It wasn't very mature, but I had to say it. As expected, Lisa's face went pale at my words. Then, in a small voice, she pleaded.
Please tell me.
I decided to enlighten her. All right. You thought you were John's daughter, but you didn't know the truth. I feel sorry for you, so I'll tell you. I then shared with Lisa the harsh truth. Actually, Lisa, you were indeed John's stepchild, but not his biological daughter. Your biological mother had been married before she married John and had you with her previous husband. When they divorced, John took you in, and after your mother passed away, he raised you as his own. Lisa must have discovered this while going through the inheritance procedures and checking the family registry.
So, things between Lisa and me are a bit complicated, but I think of her as my own daughter. So when we remarry, I want you to think of her as your own daughter and take care of her.
John had said this to me before we got married. That's why I had always taken care of Lisa as if she were my own.
That's a lie. That's got to be a lie.
Why do you think it's a lie?
Because.
Still, Lisa refused to believe what I was saying. When I asked her why, she answered with a frustrated look.
Because Dad didn't officially adopt me. He never intended to leave me any inheritance. That's why I thought, maybe Dad didn't really care about me.
You're right. There was no formal adoption. But that was for your own good.
For my good?
Yes. Your father made the decision so that you would not feel indebted to him and not feel responsible for taking care of him in his old age. That's why John deliberately didn't go through with the adoption. As for the inheritance, John had planned to gradually give it as a living inheritance. But his sudden passing made that impossible.
No way.
Upon realizing the truth, Lisa collapsed to her knees. But she quickly stood up again, blurting out something surprising.
What about the inheritance then? Dad was quite wealthy, wasn't he? So what happens to it now?
It's obvious, isn't it? What happens? I'm John's only relative. His parents are gone, so I inherit everything.
That can't be.
Lisa's scream echoed through the neighborhood. Then, suddenly,
Then you should give me the living inheritance in Dad's place. He said he would do that while he was alive, didn't he? So you should.
I would have if things were different. But I paused for a moment. Lisa initially looked hopeful, but her expression soon turned to anxiety. That's when I said, "You've forgotten what you said at the funeral home? You wanted to cut ties, remember? No assistance from me, no matter what, right?"
Yes, but that was...
And you even lied, saying John hated me. That's not true at all. We loved each other and remarried. We were husband and wife. John used to say,
Say what?
if anything happened to him, help Lisa if she ever finds out the truth. But he added that if you were rude to me, that would change things. No money for someone who's disrespectful. He said it was okay to cast you out.
That can't be.
Lisa's face went pale upon hearing this. She clearly remembered her foolish words from a few days ago. Yet, she still seemed unable to accept it. In a leading voice, she said,
Mom, I'm sorry. I was really upset back then.
Huh?
I was just upset. That's why I said those things at the funeral, but that wasn't how I really felt. So let's continue being close like before.
Lisa seems to think I'll forgive her for this farce. But I was insulted in front of everyone at the funeral. There are probably still people who attended the funeral who misunderstand me. That's why I can't simply forgive what Lisa said. You know, you're 20 years old. Do you really think that kind of excuse will work?
But I was really upset.
Even if you were upset, there are things you should and shouldn't say. Facing Lisa's futile attempts to backpedal, I spoke my mind clearly. I reiterated my decision to cut ties with her. I have no intention of helping you anymore, as I said before. No living inheritance, nothing. No matter how financially troubled you get, I won't help you. And don't come to this house anymore. It's not your home anymore. If you trespass, I'll call the police. Lisa heard my words, her face turning from shock to pale realization. Realizing the implications of her future, her voice trembled.
What am I supposed to do now? I thought I was getting Dad's inheritance. So I bought all sorts of things. Brand bags, jewelry. I can't return them now, and they're worthless at pawn shops. The card payments are due soon. How am I supposed to pay them off?
Lisa, always thinking only about herself. She probably wasn't even that sad about John's death. All she wanted was to monopolize John's inheritance. I was getting fed up just listening to her selfish reasoning. That's not my problem. Why should I care about a stranger's debt? There's nothing more to talk about, so please leave. If you don't, I'll call the police. Saying this, I reached for my phone. Seeing that, Lisa must have realized I was serious.
Just transfer the money, okay? Please, I'll be waiting.
Shouting this, she stormed out of the house. After that, I heard nothing from Lisa. I don't know what she's up to, but she apparently went to John's relatives, asking for money.
The adults who knew I wasn't John's real child and didn't tell me are also responsible. So give me money to take responsibility.
I heard that she said this to John's siblings. But everyone was angry about what she said at the funeral, so naturally, no one was willing to help her. Rumor has it she borrowed money from high-interest lenders. I keep hearing various rumors, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me anymore. By then, I had inherited everything from John, as I had explained to Lisa. I have no intention of quitting my job or living extravagantly. I plan to use the money to refurbish the house I shared with John a bit. If there's anything left over, I might donate it somewhere. I don't desire luxurious spending. Having the means to cherish the memories with John is more than enough for me.